That is Joe Biden's little brother, Frank, who works for a law firm. He's not a lawyer. And boy, oh boy, I think he's putting his brother in a very awkward place. And there are indications that his brother agrees with me. I want to bring in our historians, please. We've got Craig Shirley, Reagan biographer and presidential historian, and also Doug Wead, presidential historian and former advisor to President George H.W. Bush. Gentlemen, this looks like it could get very, very messy. Brother of the president saying, make an appointment, I'll come and talk to you. I mean, a TV commercial. And he's a non-lawyer. And then on Inauguration Day, they put out a whole big 2-page spread in a local trade magazine that says, yeah, his brother's the president, and all this can be very helpful when it comes to environmental matters. This is really heavy-handed and kind of stupid, isn't it, Doug?
Yeah, I actually studied this and interviewed 14 of the siblings of the American presidents. Bill Clinton's brother, of course, went to prison and had a drug problem. And the best that I could figure out what happens is here's a little brother or big brother, and they're suddenly president of the United States, and they think, hey, wait a minute, I could tie my shoes before he could tie his shoes. I'm as smart as him. I'm smarter than him. And so they try to make it all up in a short period of time, and it leads to awkward moments. Another one we didn't mention was Billy Carter, who cut his deal with the Libyan lobbyists. So
Billy Carter. I think we got a picture of him. By the way, Craig, I heard that, what was her name? Lillian, Jimmy Carter's mother, publicly said that Billy was the smart one, that he was smarter than Jimmy, but he was obviously kind of, well, with the beer and everything like that, and the Libyans, a bit of an embarrassment.
Well, the whole family, let's face it, Greg, was a little bit of an embarrassment. Ms. Lillian, the southern head of the Carter clan, Carter family. Billy, of course, with the Billy beer, and then later getting a $400,000 contract to sell access for Libya to the Carter White House. Is that then they had a sister who was a holy roller, evangelical, which wasn't bad, but at the time it just seemed a little bit too over the top. And in fact, their whole family seemed a little bit too over the top for most Americans to stomach.
I'm gonna check this. I actually read something once. I think her name was Ruth. I could be wrong. Jimmy Carter.
Ruth Stapleton.
Yeah,
Ruth Carter Stapleton.
And I tell you the truth, I read an essay that she wrote a long time ago, and I thought she was terrific. That presidential sibling, I actually like quite a bit. But let's face it, overall, the siblings, the kids, have been trouble throughout history. You know who has not been, contrary to recent popular belief? The Trump kids. They've been fantastic. I mean, they're not in trouble. They have careers. They're actually good at their jobs. And, you had the entire Washington, D.C. establishment breathing down their necks. Mueller could not get anything on these kids. And if there was something to get, I bet he would have found it.
They text each other every day. They stay in close touch. They have positive attitudes. Ivanka says, I refuse to be bitter. I do have to leave you, Greg, with one very funny thing that Billy Carter said. He was once interviewed, and he said, my sister heals the sick. My brother thinks he's going to be president of the United States. I'm the only sane one among them.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, gentlemen, today there was the March for Life rally in Washington, D.C. on the Mall, I believe. It's interesting. Well, there looks like Pennsylvania Avenue, and I think they had a moment on the Mall. Last year, it wasn't just a bunch of people in the streets. It was the President of the United States came and spoke personally. And that was such a big deal when it happened. Even Republican presidents in the past, the most they would do is send a videotape message. How much of a loss do you think it is, Craig, for the Right to Life movement that President Trump is no longer there?
Well, the inspirational leader of the life movement is now gone from the White House. There's no doubt about it. On the other hand, is that the pro-life movement for the last 10, 15 years, Greg, has found itself to be working very effectively at the state and local level. So while they're not going to get much done in the next year or two at the national level, they certainly will keep the sunlight on their issue, and that's good. That's important. But they will find a lot of success in the states, and I suspect in 2 years they'll find more success at the national level and in more states as Republicans win those legislative seats and congressional seats in 2 years.
Gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it there. Craig Shirley, Doug Wead.
My friends are calling me all the time and writing me and saying, you've disappeared from television. We can't find you. We don't see you anymore. This is the only way we've figured out how to beat the censors. If you subscribe to this channel, hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell, you'll get notification when I'm on TV. Otherwise, you won't get my Instagrams, my messages on Facebook. It's censorship. So I want to hear from you. I want you to be able to hear from me.